I'm Caitlyn, I am 27. I work as a store manager in the Schnitz store. I've been there 2.5 years, and before that I was in the Shepparton store for 5 years. So my story starts very young, but also mainly about 10 years ago. I grew up with a lot of alcoholics in my life. I also grew up around drug use, thinking it was sort of normal. Wasn't until high school really that it was heavier drugs around my family and directly in my household as a young adult growing up. So, you know, seeing that deterioration going through my family and my mum, my dad, you know, and all of those adults that are meant to be there for you at that time. So going through a lot of that as well, but learning you don't have to live like that was that was a hard one to learn as well. The turning point for me was when my mum walked out, and that was the hardest decision to make for me because I couldn't stay in a house that she kept coming back to. And at that point I was 15, 16, you know, it was really hard because she'd come back, be very abrasive and abusive as well. And making that decision at such a young age, going, I can't live in this environment, but where else do I go? You know, no one knew. I didn't talk about it at school. My friends didn't know. Our family didn't know how bad things were at the time. It was a really hard one to make that decision to leave that environment. And unfortunately, I stay in that toxic environment, or the flip side was I was homeless. So from then, one of my friends actually lived same street. I slept on her couch for a week or two, and then I ended up sharing a room with her younger sister for about 4 or 5 months. And it was actually my high school, the wellbeing officers, that when the building was being built and had just literally opened doors, and we're sitting there recess and lunch for 2 days filling out this long application, and then 4 different interviews I had to go through for this process. And this is a hard one. Like, my whole life just rested in, you know, different other people's hands to, did I put enough information about myself? You know, they're making that decision on where I live. Am I going to get accepted into this, you know, place where gives me that opportunity to finish year 12, finish year 11, get through high school and the potential of university after that? Like, it's a big call to put everything in that one basket and really just hope it worked. Fortunately for me, it did. I was very lucky. A week and a half from application to interviews, because it was right at the start. It was very quick. I was very lucky that I did get in. And I was student number 7 in that building, so I was very lucky. When those 2 years were up, my dad was really unwell. So I made that decision to go move in with him and look after him. You know, moving out of that accommodation into my dad's, like, it was different because I'd never lived with my dad before that point, ever. Going 6 months later and it all just crashed again. My mum ended up in jail. My dad and I had a bit of a fight and he kicked me out. But for the end of that month, the pivotal bit was getting my job at Schnitz. There was a lot happening. But my job at Schnitz is a bit that kind of went, I've got something to now look forward to. So when I got my job at Schnitz, it was a really fun one because, like, I got the phone call from Ronnie for the job offer in the car park of the prison after visiting my mum. So for me, that was a really nice shining bright for the day, and I wasn't anticipating that phone call. I didn't know who the number was, so it was a lot of emotions going, oh, I got the job, cool. I knew that it had been applied for, I didn't know I got it. Oh, this is exciting. To then, I think it was the following week, I'm getting uniform, the meet and greet and the store opening within a week and a half of getting that job. Like, it was a very quick turnaround. And here we are. So working at Schnitz for me, it has been that lifesaver and that lifeline. My life is Schnitz. It saved my life, like, literally. I didn't know where I was going before that. 7.5 years later, and I still wake up just as excited as I was as a team member, getting, oh, I got a shift today, gonna go work today. It's great. I have grown a lot. When I started at Schnitz, I was a really angry person. There was a lot of emotions, as you could imagine. It's not that I didn't care, but I wasn't invested. You know, it was a job. I was 19, 20, it was just a job. I was just making money. And then it all sort of changed when I got offered team leader. And, you know, Daniel and Ronnie obviously saw it a little bit more, and, you know, the managers around at the time, they all saw that little bit more in me than, like, I knew I could be a leader, but I wasn't, it's not what I wanted at that time, I didn't think, but it is. It's what I needed. It all just really started there. Like, that was the pivotal, that first opportunity. Life-changing, really. You know, 10 years ago, I didn't think I'd be running a store. It was a dream. I did not see that something 7.5 years ago when I got the job. I'm so proud of myself for holding on and taking that chance. It's, you know, 7.5 years ago, I didn't want to be here. 10 years ago, I didn't want to be here. And now I just wake up every day just so immensely proud of myself, and just taking that opportunity and taking that leap of faith and having people that believed in me. Like, I wouldn't be here without them all. Now we're training new staff up again. You know, I've got a brand new leadership team around me that I'm training up to get confident and have that empowering body in themselves to just make the call and have a go, because that one opportunity and that one belief can go a long way, and especially in a younger generation coming up, you know, they're the next steps after us, so giving them that faith. I think at the moment though, my biggest goal is to keep growing and developing myself and my team, so, you know, one day I might move onwards and upwards and give these guys the opportunity to move onwards and upwards. Like, small goals, big goals. Own my own restaurant one day is a big one, but the little ones at the moment are get these young guys confident so they can take over from me, and then I can go learn other things. With Vinnies itself as an organisation, as a young person who didn't know how far $200 a week would go, Vinnies does have ways to help and support people, like food and clothes and just little things. So things like that, just having that access is a lot. Personally, for me, that was huge, just a box of food, and when I didn't have food. I didn't know how to get food, I couldn't afford it. Not being able to afford things like that. So then working with an organisation now at this point where it's like, want to give back where we can. With Vinnies, from my view, being a part of it and now being on the other side to help with Vinnies from Schnitz, it's knowing that it's more than just an op shop. It's more than just a box of food, it's clothes, it's everything. You know, we're trying to make a big difference in the world and in Australia, and, you know, it is our world, it's all around us. To be a part of a brand like Schnitz that's doing it, and we're giving back and we're partnering up and making that big difference. For me, it's personal and it means a lot. Over the month of June, when you order at your favourite Schnitz location, you can add $1, $2 or $5 donation onto your meal. Every donation to Vinnies can go a really long way, from it being a meal to clothes, support, bedding for, you know, all it need, and it can really go a long way throughout our communities.